Hello and welcome to another episode of Spare Time Gardening with me, Simon. And as usual, I'm back in the greenhouse. I may add that the greenhouse is ready for the growing season. It's been cleaned and disinfected. So this episode, it's going to be about a tour of the garden as usual. I've had a bit of storm damage, as a lot of people have had recently. So I've lost a few fence panels. But I also want to share with you some of my ideas on what I want to do this year about landscaping the garden. It's been neglected for a little while now. And this year is going to be the year where I'm going to transform the garden into a usable space, and we'll talk about that a little bit more during this episode. So as always, enjoy. Let's start off this tour as always in the garden. So here's the bottom border, and you've got the compost bin which is coming out and being replaced with a new one. These fence panels at the back there are going to come out and replaced with new fencing. This bay tree has been in a number of years. I'm taking that out, and the plan is to move this silver birch tree, pop it in a pot, and that's going to go in this corner. The fence you can see at the back is coming out, and I've been looking at getting some quotes for some replacement fencing. It needs to be really strong and durable because it gets extremely windy up here. But because that's currently sat on a retaining wall, you might just be able to make it out of the back. I can't have any concrete posts, we have to have wooden posts, so I'm going to scrap the idea of a fence, take the fence out, and we're going to replace it with some evergreen laurel bushes. That way, it's all about planting trees this year in 2022, so I want some green hedging, good for the wildlife and also storm resistant. This bottom border is all going to be changed. Now, you won't believe it, but I spent the back end of autumn removing all the alliums and crocus and daffodils, and as you can see, I've clearly missed a few. So these are going to have to be cleared out and stored and put in pots. Nice to see the purple primroses coming back there. Again, we need to do something with this, tidy it up, make this a usable border. On the side where the conifers are, this is going to be a border with some rocks, like a rock garden with some rock garden plants. That'll also need doing this year. And last year didn't really do much because, as you can just see in the background there, we replaced the conservatory and had an extension built. So there's been a lot of work on the house and inside the house last year, hence why the videos have been quite hit and miss. So apologies for that, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more done this year. The patio will have a transformation, that's going to be changed and probably made a little bit bigger. So we're going to extend the patio just a little bit onto this grass and replace this side border. So again, this might be, I've got an idea to put a bench there because that captures morning sun. So again, we're probably going to have a bench there. Grass definitely needs a cut as well, so we'll do that at some point today. So the greenhouse is all ready for the growing season, so we'll still put the tomatoes and cucumbers in and the basil. And you'll notice a gap in the fence. As I mentioned, storm damage hit us hard. We lost 3 fence panels, so all that's coming down. As you can see, it's a little bit of a mess. Just looks like a building site at the moment. To be honest, I'm really disappointed by how it's looking, but we're going to tidy it up, make it look neat. And as I said, the evergreen hedging will go down at the back of the fence between the gaps, and we'll have some privacy screening, probably just in this top end, where we're going to eventually, if I just spin round, we're going to eventually have this as a seating area. Remove the water butt and all the rubbish that's around. We'll have this as a seating area. This captures the evening sun, so this is perfect for those summer evenings. Disappointingly, the veg patch looks like a wild garden. So there's a lot of perennial plants in here that I'll be moving and popping into the border right at the back there. So ones that I got a couple of years ago, so those will be moved. And we've got strawberries that need moving and looking after. So we'll move those into pots, and I've got some homemade planters that have been lovingly made by my Dad. So we're going to have some planters and raised beds for veg and fruit rather than this border and this veg patch. This is all going to come up, and we're going to have paths leading into different rooms in the garden. So rather than walking on the grass, you've got little paths that lead you to different places. So that's the ideas I've got for this year. Just wanted to give you a bit of a sneaky peek and share some of my ideas, and then hopefully stay tuned, keep watching the episodes as I regularly update them, and we will you'll hopefully come on the journey with me as I transform this back garden into a usable, relaxing space, and no more important than relaxing it right now, as we've just come out of the 2-year pandemic. Things are getting back to normal, but people's mental health has certainly been affected. There's nothing more soothing and relaxing than spending time outdoors, listening to the birds, hearing children playing and pottering around with nature. So that's it for now, and we will keep tuned, and then you'll be able to see how this transformation takes place. It's a quick of an update then. So all I've done is just cut the grass, removed the fence panels that were stuck in the way, neatened up the borders. Didn't quite get round to cutting the bay tree back, but that'll save for another day. It's a little bit more done. I've just tidied up the side borders as well. So much more to crack on with. I'll have to save for another day. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button, and please feel free to leave your comments and feedback below. I'd love to hear from you, so don't be shy, and of course I'll reply. See you soon.